to do this shaping, one of the videos I watched, I don't remember which one it was one time, they told me to purchase a roll of this, it lines the inside of cupboards and drawers in your kitchen. And it comes in a roll, and it's kind of grippy, and it's really good to place underneath the item or underneath the board so that it's not moving when you're chiseling on it. And it does get a pretty good grip, so I would recommend it. It's actually worked out very well. I happen to have some 2 cherry chisels here that my wife got me a while back, and they're from Germany. They're very good chisels, at least good for my quality level. I would recommend to get yourself a good set of chisels that are good steel, that can be resharpened. Get yourself some good stones, learn how to sharpen your chisels, and keep these things what they consider scary sharp, and they are. You're not going to want to get hit with one of these chisels. You want to use these pretty much just on what you're doing here and shaping these braces. So I'm actually going to move the camera to the other side of the table so you can get a better shot. So we'll come right back and I'll show you how to shape these. Okay, hopefully you can see a little bit better from that angle. So I've already made my marks on my braces where I want the bevels to start. And what you want to try to do is get a nice smooth bevel down to almost nothing at the soundboard, because that allows the sound to move around within the board or within the guitar efficiently and resonate properly. So what I've seen is kind of weight this down. Going to use the chisel side, the angle down. And what you want to do is you just want to start taking away some material. Again, with a nice sharp chisel, you can get clean cuts. So you notice I stopped at my mark, and I'm going to keep working my way down to nothing. It does tend to splinter off a little bit there at the end as you start breaking more in line with the grain. But as you get down closer to the bottom and you start taking less and less off, you'll get a smoother finish. Then also I'll take one of my small sanding jigs that are on some of the dowel, and I'll sand it smooth. You do want to try to hold your chisel nice and square. You don't want to get going kind of sideways and end up gouging your soundboard. I did that a little bit on my first one. Just need to take your time and be careful. So this is the part of it I think that you just better off taking your time and trying to get it as smooth as you can get it. So I'm going to stop actually right there. Hold this up so you can see, you gotta get a better angle on it. So you can see that nice smooth pitch down, that bevel down that brace. I'll do the same thing on the other side. All these will have a bevel at each end, again, to allow the sound to move around in there. And then we'll shape the crowns on these as well with the chisels. So there's quite a bit of handwork that goes into these boards once you get the bracing done. There's a lot of work to do on this bracing. Again, I would encourage you to take your time. Just go as slow as you need to go so that you're not screwing anything up, because actually at this point, and this made me a completely nervous wreck on my first guitar, is everything you do at this point going forward, you make a mistake, I think you're just kind of ruined. I think you got to start over. So, you know, I've already done things like, you know, thickness sanded all this. I've, you know, cut out the inlay, glued it in, you know, the walnut inlay. So all that's done. It's all sanded nice and smooth. You know, you've done all that work already, and now you screw it up now, you screw it up. So again, take your time, go through all these. We'll get them sanded up nice and smooth. I'll come back and I'll show you how we'll shape the crowns. Okay, well, I've got all the beveling done on my soundboard. You can see there all the different braces have the bevels on the ends. So those are all done. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to put a crown on the top of this, because as much as we have kind of this shape on the ends that scallops down, as you look down the brace, we want to now put a crown, if you will, on the top of it. We want to make all these kind of round edges. If you know much about sound, which I don't know a lot, but I do know that, you know, even in a recording studio, I think they try not to have any 90-degree corners in the room because it traps sound. You want sound to move. And so by making these kind of organic shapes to the braces, it allows the sound to move freely in the body of the guitar and to resonate appropriately. So anyways, I'm going to go through now, and I'm going to try to put these crowns to this and show you a little bit of how we do this. So if you can see that, it's kind of got this nice shape to it. And what I can do now is I can come along with sandpaper and sand that even smoother, and it gives you that nice kind of a crown. So we got to go through and do this to every one of these to create a nice shape. Now, the first guitar that I did, I worked my way, these braces that cross, I worked my way into the brace. Later found out I probably should have worked my way from the brace out. So you'll wind up with this kind of a nice taper at all 4 points as it comes into this brace. Otherwise you take too much of the material away. So learned that on my first one. Again, go back, guys, take your time. That's all I can say on this, is take as much time as you need, because you don't want to screw anything up here. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to put a crown on all these now, and have the soundboard getting a lot closer to getting prepared to glue into place. Okay, well, you've seen me carve up some of the bevel and shape to the braces. So at this point, I'm all done carving. I've sanded them smooth. I'm going to come back now. I had mentioned at one time when we were gluing these up, you know, be generous on the glue. I am going to try to come back and clean out some of this where there's some big globs that have come out during the gluing process. I'm going to try to clean that out a little bit just so it's nice and smooth in there and there's not any kind of irregularities in the shape. Don't know if that affects sound. It's funny, you can watch, again, a lot of videos online, people making guitars, and some of them go in and clean it out and some don't. So I'm not sure if it affects the sound or not, but I'm going to clean out kind of the big lobby areas that are in there. I'll clean them out with a chisel. Just gotta, again, like shaping all this stuff, you just got to really take your time. You want to be gouging up the soundboard and stuff on the inside. So I'm going to go in and clean up some of that now. And then this will pretty much be done. As I'm recalling here, pretty much done. I'm going to end up, when we get this put together, I'm going to end up drilling a hole because I put the truss rod in the neck inside the guitar, so you make the adjustment through the sound hole. So the end of the Allen head will be kind of through this cross brace right here. That's again why I added that. That's a little bit of a different look than the Taylor layout, but that's a piece I added. And it's very similar to a I think Gretsch parlor guitar that my son has. So it actually has a brace across there that captures the nut for the truss rods. So again, I'm kind of combining some things that I've seen and kind of studied as I've researched these and putting it together that way. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. Again, the first guitar I made sounded really nice. I actually did do a spruce back on the first guitar and a mahogany front, which is probably opposite to a traditional guitar. I learned after the fact. But it did still sound really nice. Had a little bit of a low tone to it, but my son plays it all the time in our church, and it sounds good. So I'm gonna go back, kind of clean up this glue like I said, and then we'll have this soundboard about in place to install. Gonna go back tomorrow, go back to the backboard, the back plate that we glued up, and then we'll do the same thing on that. Shape all those, clean out glue, and kind of get that ready.